Hi, I'm Tina Korbe, and I am in the green room with Dr. James Carafano of the Heritage Foundation in preparation for our National Policy Summit on Energy and Federalism today. Dr. Carafano, why is energy and federalism, as our topic goes, important not just to policy experts, but to individual Americans?
Well, from my perspective, because I coordinate all the national security and foreign policy research, there is a relationship between energy and national security. It's actually not what a lot of people think. People think in terms of energy security, and that's actually the wrong framework, because when you say anything with security, it kind of leads you to think of kind of status solution. The government's got to be involved, the government's got to be in control. And with energy policy, that's actually not the direction we want to go with. We really want to have an open market, and there's two things. First of all, we want a strong energy economy in the United States, because that's going to make our economy strong and vibrant, and that's going to allow us to pay for the security that we need to defend ourselves. And where national security comes into it, it's really the role of the military and our national security apparatus to keep the commons open, the sea lanes, the ability to use the air, the ability to use cybersecurity, because that allows the market to work. So there's this very symbiotic relationship, a strong, vibrant economy, and the ability to defend the freedom of that market to operate. That's what really makes the United States the country it needs to be in the 21st century.
Can you expand a little bit on that idea of needing a strong economy to be able to pay for the defense we need? Because this president has tried to cut defense spending using a weak economy as an excuse for that. And I would argue maybe that's not a good excuse to still not properly fund defense.
That's right. So with this administration, you actually get a twofer. You get the worst possible combination of policies you could ask for. On the one hand, he wants a green economy, which again is kind of status solution, the government picking winners and losers. What that does is it doesn't allow the market to operate efficiently. It doesn't allow the market to make choices. It doesn't create jobs. It doesn't create more energy. So it's a bad energy policy. But on the other hand, the way he wants to pay for that is by cutting national security. So cutting the thing which protects the free market and allows it to operate. So if you were looking for a sound policy and a sound combination of energy and national security, you actually couldn't do worse than we're doing now.
And I admit, I'm one of those people who had the wrong opinion, as you just said, in terms of thinking of energy security first. And so I wondered, I have a question about China. Bottom line, China needs affordable energy to continue its economic expansion. And the two largest oil companies in China, CNPC and Sinopec, do business in a lot of different countries, not just in Iran, but also in Canada. And then they've recently made a move into the shale plays in the United States. So how can we use that to our advantage in trying to get China to apply economic sanctions to Iran?
Well, I think the first thing we have to do when you look at China is we have to recognize, put the Chinese economy in perspective. China's not going to buy the United States. That's just not going to happen. There are many countries in Europe which invest much more in the United States than China. And if you look at Europe as a whole, Europe is actually the largest investor in the United States. So China's not going to own us. And I think the advantage of when anybody comes to do business in the United States, because we have a market economy based on the rule of law, we can pretty much ensure, unless you're dealing with some very sensitive national security issues like satellite technology or something else, that people are going to follow the rule of law. The relationship between the United States and China is always going to be a chancy one, because they fundamentally have a society that's deeply flawed. They don't have political and economic freedoms the way in the United States. So even though we live in the same world and we're going to have to learn how to live together, we're never going to be friends, and we're never going to, in a sense, be truly peaceful until there's internal reforms in China where they get the economic reforms and the political reforms that really make them a partner for the United States. But to get through this period, and to make sure that the tense relationship with the United States and China doesn't become something that's more troubling, we need strong national security and we need a strong economy. So again, boy, you hear these themes over and over again. Having a free market economy that truly can operate to all the benefits of a free market economy, being able to defend that economy, that is the formula for moving forward in the future. And it's something that we really need to get back to the top of the national agenda, because if you think of almost every problem we have in this country today, the underlying that, the fundamentals under that is a strong economy and the ability to defend this nation. We've got to get those right.
And going back to Barack Obama, it's not just him. There are people in his administration, obviously, who have these same policy ideas. So who are the people to bring a different vision to energy policy in government right now?
Well, that's a great question. it all comes down to leadership, and particularly when you need a strong executive and you need strong leadership from the White House on these issues. Even though Congress has an important role, Congress funds and raises and maintains the military. Congress passes the law that allows regulatory agencies to make decisions. So they've got to work together, but you have to have strong leadership from the White House. I work at a nonpartisan, nonprofit foundation. We don't pick winners and losers, but we kind of lay out the markers on what you need. And what we need is we need somebody that believes in the free market economy, that's going to let it operate and not try to run it like some puppet master. And we have to have somebody who believes that what the Constitution says, that one of the principal responsibilities of government is to provide for the national defense.